We are 5 a.m. Club. Live? Come on. Metal Cowboy. Got my Metal Cowboy Ron Keel shirt on from BodyThredz. It's Friday. As promised, doing the 5 a.m. Club. Doing a little Peloton with, I don't even know who this person is, but she seems all ready to go. A lot more awake than I am. I don't know if anybody's out there. If you're out there, give me a click, give me a sign, do something. It's very cool to be a part of BodyThredz. I'll tell you, I started this thing a couple years ago, and it's just my passion for growing up in the 80s, listening to all these great rock bands, living in the community where I lived, had a lot of friends who also loved heavy metal. We used to drive to the record store back in the day. I was talking to my son about it yesterday regarding streams versus downloads versus real album sales. It's hard to compare today's billions of streams versus album sales. And my argument was, well, even though the industry tries to do that, they say X amount of streams equals X amount of record sales. I don't know if I believe that, because the way I look at it is, back in those days when we wanted to get an album, get in our car. In this case, I'm from South Florida, so we had to drive about 35, 45 minutes to Hollywood to a place called Record Haven. Big Lou was the guy who would turn us on all this metal. He would basically have a big wall of new albums, and he would pretty much tell us, hey, you got to check out this one, you got to check out this one. So we had to drive 35, 40 minutes to get that album. So, and then pay whatever it was back then, $10, $12, $13 an album. So if you're telling me someone's got the ability to quantify that versus me going click when I want to download an album from Apple Music, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all, because there's no sort of skin in the game when you're spending, I don't even know what I spend on Apple Music, $10 a month, $12 a month, and I can just download any album I want. It doesn't even mean I'm going to listen to the whole album. At least when we got back, whether we bought a cassette or an album, we bought that cassette. Man, we're listening to that cassette the minute we get in that car. And back in those days, you would listen to the whole album, or the whole cassette. You'd flip it. And if you didn't like that cassette, because sometimes we didn't know which band we were getting, there was a few times that cassette didn't even make it all the way home. It got thrown out the window. I won't mention the band, but it was pretty fun. We had a lot of fun doing those things. So when I had my law practice, after a few years, I sold it about 6 or 7 years ago, and didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up. So we had the idea of a sports apparel company, and it was cool. We just said, let's do it. And I decided to send a bunch of emails out, send a bunch of calls out. And one day I'm sitting there in my favorite coffee shop here in Parkland, Florida, 6 months into this, not getting any returns, not getting any emails, nothing. And I looked up to the universe. I'm a big universe guy. Doesn't matter what business you're running, right? You got to believe in your business, your passion. So I looked up to the universe, and I was like, are you kidding me? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? And no joke, 2 minutes later, I said, just give me a sign. Give me a sign, universe. I'm doing something. And of course, now infamous story, my phone rings, and I see Ron Keel. And I'm like, Ron Keel's not in my phone. And all of you who know Steeler and Keel and Ron Keel, and I've seen him a bunch of times back in the 80s, and so it was pretty wild to see him on my phone Didn't know if it was really him or management or what. So I answered the phone. Hey, this is Joe Cohn. And then Ron Keel. Hey, this is Ron Keel. I got your email. And man, he starts talking. And Ron talks faster than I do. I've told the story a bunch of times. So in my mind, I had to try to slow the conversation down because, I wanted to appear as a businessman first and not a fan. So I was able to slow the conversation down a little bit. We had a great 20-minute conversation, and the rest is history. He loved the idea. We partnered with him first. One of our first shirts we ever did was right here, the Metal Cowboy. So I'm very happy. Here we are, almost a year and a half after we first met on that phone call. And we're plugging away, man. It's very exciting. I think this is a great product. I love the passion that the fans are showing me when they buy these things and they buy these shirts. We're not Under Armour. We're not Nike. All we're trying to do is create some momentum for the fans that we love, that we grew up with, the community that supports these bands, the way we supported them back in the 80s, and the way we're going to do now. But anyway, I'm going to concentrate on this ride. As promised yesterday, 5 a.m. club. Need to get going. We all got our own battles to beat, to slay, weight-wise, mental-wise, whatever it is. It's great to get on these rides in the morning, get it over with. Then I'll hopefully head to the gym and then get the day started. So, again, I'm trying to do these every once in a while. Definitely do the 5 a.m. club till I get to my goal weight, whatever the fuck that is. I don't know if you can swear on YouTube. Maybe I'll get a warning. I don't know. Anyway, if you got any rides or any workouts, tag them here. Shoot me a text. Get your free shirt. I'll get it to you. Like I told you, if you're doing this with me and you can show me some of your photos, and even if not, say hi. It's tough to get up at 5 in the morning. A live video is even more fun. We got some great new shirts. We got the Freedom shirt. We got Find Your Power, which means so many things to me, and hopefully so many things to you, right? It's not about just your power here. It's your power here and your power here. So find your power. Have a great Friday. Win the weekend. And let's get after it. Have a great day. The only part I haven't figured out on these live videos is how to stop it. So maybe I'll have to be live all day. So there's an X button up there. So I'm thinking that's what I got to hit. Look at the light. It's shining on the light. All right. Have a great day. I see a few people out there. So get in your great workouts. Have a great day.